What's going on, everyone? It has been a long time since we dove into Grand Inquisitor. For those of you that have been longtime viewers of the channel, way back when we first started posting videos, this is like one of the first 5 decks I made a video on, and we're back. I got inspired by another video maker. I believe it's pronounced Cielson, but I do not know for sure. I'll post a link to his Grand Inquisitor Blue video down below. It inspired me to kind of little bit modify his list in just Grand Inquisitor Blue in general and go out and play some games with it, because I went in and played some with some patron members and it performed amazingly to the point where I was like, guys, we got to put a video on this. So with all that said, a big thank you to those members and my patron supporters in general, and also a TCG player link in the description down below if you guys want to pick up any Star Wars Limited cards. We're going to talk about Grand Inquisitor Blue here and what's going on. I believe the last time I did Grand Inquisitor Blue was in set 2. And that means we have set 3 and set 4 cards to talk about. What I want to really quickly go through is all the set 3 and 4 cards that are brand new to this list. First off, Onyx Squadron Brute, great new addition, helps you kind of stay on par with the race and is a target for Grand Inquisitor's ability. TIE Bomber, amazing, gets you that indirect damage immediately. And with Interceptor Ace, which we'll talk about in a moment, this thing becomes a menace. We've got Calculated Magna Guard, nice little Sentinel, can be ready up with Grand Inquisitor. Interceptor Ace, +2/+3, and Grit. This is really massive because it can oftentimes be +4/+3 for a lot of different units out there. We've got the Von Reich's TIE Interceptor, nice little 3/4 that, well, going to probably just get readied up and just get in some attacks. We've got the new Shuttle. This is a 3/4 shielded. We can potentially ready this up multiple times because of the shielded aspect of this. We have Sonara Sand, nice little grit unit. Well, that's actually set 2. This is one thing that we used to play with. A Devastating Gunship is the other one here from set 4. This one's going to be the new, I say set 4, but it's set 3 actually. 3/5 grit. It's going to power up to a 5/3 immediately rated up and defeat something oftentimes. There's a couple of other cards in terms of power from pain. This one can be pretty sweet. This one doesn't actually go ahead and have to attack with a non-leader unit. And more importantly, it's just based on the damage, you get extra power. Nice little one of alongside our Grim Resolve. Grim Resolve gives grit to units. Now, this is really strong for things like Fifth Brother, the TIE Bomber, or Morgan Elspeth, or whatever unit really that has that 3 power, but no grit, so you can get immediately readied up, because it's basically like a breaking in, and in some cases even stronger. Power from pain works on units even with them having grit, like Death Watch Loyalist, and the Interceptor Ace giving grit. That's why we're playing kind of a 2-1 split. Force Throw, that's why we're playing Morgan Elspeth, Fifth Brother. Of course, we got Grand Inquisitor. We got a decent amount of Force units. And a little bit of removal, open fire, takedowns. We got Fallen Lightsabers. That's the list. We're going to be powered in. We're going to be dealing some damage. And we're going to hope to win some games today. All right, into our first game. We got a pretty good hand. We got the Fifth Brother. We've got the Hylobot Enforcer. I think I'll resource the Open Fire and the Onyx Squadron Brute. I think I'm going to be the very big aggressor in this matchup up against Anakin Blue. We're 35 HP to deal with. It's kind of obnoxious, to be honest. So we'll see if we can get out of this. Hylobot Enforcer, not my favorite card up against the Colossus deck. And of course, they happen to have that really, really solid option in R2. I'm going to go with Hylobot Enforcer. I'm going to immediately ready this up. And I'm going to actually attack R2 and put a shield token on it so it gets 4 power here. I'm hoping that they don't have anything removal related to get rid of this Hylobot Enforcer here. And then potentially we can go Fifth Brother, ready it up and kill the R2-D2. That's kind of what my thought process was. And if they don't, then that's going to be great. Looks like they've got a Daring Raid, so they happen to have it. It is what it is. They have the card to deal with my card. Unlucky. They have the exact card that they kind of needed. It happens. They're going to draw an extra card. We're going to go Fifth Brother. They're going to claim initiative. I'll attack. I think I will not deal damage just in case that's relevant here in the upcoming turns. We have Interceptor Ace, Devastating Gunship. I think the Interceptor Ace is potentially stronger than the Devastating Gunship here. They got an open fire. Sure, our opponent's playing the controlling game, as we expected from the Anakin player. get in for 3, pass. Got on a Morgan Elspeth that will resource here. We have clan challengers that we can ready up multiple times, potentially. They got to take down, sure. We're going to go clan challengers, ready that up, hit for 6. Boom, there's 6 damage in. Force throw, potentially pretty good. We have a lot of events here, which I really like. Steela, huh? Not bad, not bad. I think here what we're going to do is get in for 6. Regional governor, huh? Well, this is an easy solution because we get to ready this up. It's going to have 4 damage on it. And that's going to be a lot of damage coming in. And then we've got, well, Grim Resolve and Power from Pain to finish off the match. Let's go Grim Resolve, get in, GG. GG. Grim Resolve actually is 10 damage, and that's GG. So game 1 to us. Our opponent tried to play the controlling game. They even had the daring raid. Even with a low card in hand, they had the answer to my card, which was good for them. But had they not, oh my gosh, this game would have been insanely gross. Just absolutely insane. They did name Rivals Fall with Regional Governor to deal with the Anakin, I guess. We didn't even deploy Grand Inquisitor, and we won. That was awesome. Into our next matchup against Vader Yellow. I think we're pretty favored here. Going to resource some of these slower plays. Vader's not going to have a ton of ground units usually, so we kind of get free reign over just kind of going to town in terms of how much damage we can pump out. We're going to be able to ready up Scout Bike Pursuer, get in for a little bit of damage here. We're going to be able to pick off units potentially if they play any ground units with the 5th brother. If not, I mean, we can always just deal damage to our own unit in order to get more damage in, which I think is what we're going to want to do anyways. But nice couple of plays here. Our opponent's going to get a really big board really quickly, and we're going to hope that Overwhelming Barrage doesn't finish us off, but we'll see. We will see. Sanctioner's Shuttle, huh? Wow. That is a fantastic card, and well, we've talked about that card many a time on this channel so far, and yeah, it just does some major work. We're going to claim initiative here. We've got a Fallen Lightsaber. I do like that card. I think I'm just going to drop a Fallen Lightsaber on this 5th brother and hope that they don't have another Sanctioner Shuttle. If they do, the game is over. If they don't, oh, they got No Good to Me dead, huh? Wow. Really nice hand for our opponent to deal with what we got going on, to be honest. Really couldn't have been all that much better for them. They had the capture mechanic. They had the ability to exhaust my 5th brother, both of which were incredibly important to deal with what I got going on. We're going to go Devastating Gunship, knock out one of those units. And we're going to see what we could do here. We still have a very good chance at winning. We have a lot of damage very quickly. Really depends on what my opponent's got to follow this up. Remember, Grim Resolve can pump in so much damage from this 5th brother. That is currently Surprise Strike. Right now, it's Surprise Strike. And actually, when we get an attack in with 5th brother, we can deal damage to itself. So right now, it's 2 resources plus 4 plus 0, which is pretty incredible, to be honest. Let's go ahead and just pump up this Devastating Gunship. And of course, they have a Surprise Strike to deal with it. They've kind of had everything so far. And I think that's going to be game. They just had the No Good to Me dead, which is something that, if they didn't have that, the game is definitely over. So they needed some sort of exhausting potential. As you can see, we still hit them for 21 here, but that's going to be GG. We don't have any other answer to anything that's going on. Really close game, to be honest. If that No Good to Me dead wasn't properly placed and they didn't have the Sanctuary Shuttle, like we just got a little bit more damage, that game would have been clearly over. But that's the power of Vader Yellow, guys. We went over another game, another match. I do think that deck is pretty strong. All right, we got Double Red Bosk as our follow-up. This one's going to be a little bit brutal, I imagine. Definitely a little bit brutal. I'm going to keep these 3 plays. This is kind of the perfect curve. Scout Bike Pursuer on turn 1. Our opponent just happens to have the Dengar plus upgrade here turn, which is going to be quite fantastic. We're going to put Security Complex on this Scout Bike Pursuer, and they're going to have to use Bosk plus Tarkentown if they want to get rid of the... Well, actually, we're just going to ready up this Scout Bike Pursuer because now they're going to be forced to use Tarkentown to get rid of this unit. So we got rid of Tarkentown in exchange for a Security Complex, which is definitely not that bad of a trade. We've got another Force Throw, which I do like. But as I was saying with this, we have Fifth Brother plus the double Force Throw. So if Fifth Brother survives here, then we're in a really good shape. But of course, he does have to survive in order for that to be the case. And they had a really solid card, a really solid option in the Dengar plus Bounty on turn 1. So real good stuff. And they're just trading 2 for 1, I suppose. That's actually totally fine with us. We're going to resource this High-Level Enforcer. I'll play a Deathwatch Loyalist. Our opponents just had bounty after bounty after bounty. That's pretty typical. We're going to force throw our opponent because they are running out of cards quickly. And we still have a lot of cards available to us. Let's go ahead and hit this Deathwatch Loyalist. Get in for 5. Pass. We've got a TIE Bomber and Calculating Magna Guard. Force Throw, I think we will just go ahead and save for the following turn when we have Grand Inquisitor on the board. But I'm a little bit nervous about what's going on in this game here. Since our opponent has the Bosk deploy potentially this turn. They're going to Death Mark. We're going to ready up Clan Challengers. And this is going to trade with Bosk if they just use the Bosk ability, or if they just deploy Bosk rather. I'm going to pass. If they claim initiative, that's fine. I'd kind of rather be in a position where, oh, interesting. I actually will take out the Toro. I'll just take him out. They can deploy Bosk and they can kill my Clan Challengers. That's fine. This is definitely like probably the worst matchup I could think of for our situation, but we still have a pretty good shot at winning here. Let's go with a High-Level Enforcer. And then we can ready up this High-Level Enforcer. Sonara Sand, horrible card up against Bosk. Bosk double red is like especially bad. Bosk blue is actually not as bad as Bosk double red because they have the Tarkentown, right? High-Level Enforcer, they get to draw 2, obviously. That's really good. But I'd rather them draw 2, but Sonara Sand would hit us for 10, which is kind of just unacceptable. We just can't have that happen. We're going to hope that the mix of damage that we'll have here is going to be able to close out the game. But again, the pings from Bosk getting rid of shields, Tarkentown dealing with all of our damaged units. This is the nightmare matchup for sure. We get a 6-powered attacker now. I mean, that's okay with me. I'm going to deploy Grand Inquisitor here. And I mean, we're doing okay here in this matchup. Let's see what my opponent's got. They got an unlicensed headhunter. Sure. Let's get in for 6. Let's force throw my opponent. Hopefully he doesn't have a 1-cost bounty. We're looking for like Power from Pain, Grim Resolve, take out Bosk, attack in for 3, pass. Clan Challengers, Sonara Sand. Clan Challengers is actually pretty good because we can ready it up immediately with the Grand Inquisitor. So that technically is lethal. Actually, I shouldn't have resourced the Sonara Sand, but that's okay. They'll have to have something to deal with what my units are have going on over here. Otherwise, it is game over for them. They have 9 damage available to them, which is a little bit scary, which means I can't actually attack with the Sonara Sand here. Because if I do, they kill it and I lose. Because they have the damage to kill it and win. But if I attack with this and then attack with that, I technically have the winning position, right? Because if they had like an aggression, we technically did not have lethal, right? Because they kill this and they deal 5, that would have been game over. But this way plays around any sort of aggression or open fire a little bit better. Not that we had many options, but I sequenced it like that so that we had a little bit more guaranteed of a way to win. That was really close. This is like the nightmare matchup. This is like the nightmare matchup, to be honest. This is like Django levels of nightmare. Exhaust, a lot of kind of pinging and things like that is really, really rough. Cad Bane is another one that's kind of rough, but we ended up getting there and we're off to the next one. Back to fight the Vader Yellow that we saw earlier. Pretty good stuff. Let's go ahead and do I want to keep this hand? I think. I don't think so. I feel like we can do a little bit better. This is a little bit better. I do like this hand a good amount more. I'll keep the really power buffing stuff and we'll see if we can get there. Double turn one play. Always a classic against Vader Yellow here. Getting it in for a little bit of damage. Double force throw. I actually like that more than the Fall Lightsaber. Let's go ahead. Ooh, and Victor Leader, huh? That's going to get in for a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and get in. We'll trigger deal damage to each of these. So we're going to get in for a lot of damage. They're going to create a bunch of units here. We are going to claim initiative here. We will go ahead and put a shield on the fifth brother, I suppose. Not that it matters a whole lot, because we're probably going to go force throw, Grim Resolve, and see what my opponent's got. Pretty much any one of their units does, or anything that we discard from them at this point is probably pretty good for us. But we'll see what they've got. Sanctioner Shuttle, nightmare scenario, to be honest. Absolute nightmare scenario. Really good situation for our Vader players. Both games here. We've got force throw. We're going to force throw our opponent, see what they happen to have. Hopefully we're going to be able to knock out. Really good hands from the Vader Yellow players today. First one was really, really just tempo oriented. This one, much more aggressive with the Victor Leader. Okay, we got the Clone Combat Squadron, which is pretty nice. We're going to knock out that Victor Leader here. Get in for 4. Go ahead and ready up the fifth brother. Get in for another 4. Pass. Death Watch Loyalist. I mean, we have lethal on board. We have lethal. Let's see what my opponent's got. Hopefully not an overwhelming barrage. And, of course, they have the overwhelming barrage. That's pain. It's pain, guys. It's so pain. All right, let's go ahead and get in for 5 here. They have to take initiative. Not really many other options. Oh, they're just giving us the win. Okay, we got there. Opponent definitely takes initiative there. That's the only option that they have. Power from Pain coming in, but that's not quite enough. They have the OB. They have the Victor Leader. They have the Sanctioner Shuttle. Really good hand up against us. Still managed to get there. Real close, though. Definitely should have taken initiative there. My opponent, that is, and had an option to draw like OB or something like that to close out the game for them. But they didn't. So a little bit of a mistake there. But hey, I'll take it. All right, next hand up against Wedge. Wedge is a really fast deck. I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I think we can outpace Wedge, especially with a hand like this with double Hylobot Enforcers. I do like this hand. I'm going to go with Hylobot Enforcer. And guess what? Another Hylobot Enforcer. They're going to go with R2-D2 on turn 1. We're going to ready up a Hylobot Enforcer, get in for 3, pass. That's a Power from Pain. And, ooh, look at that, an Open Fire. I do like Open Fire here. And we may just play it on this A-Wing, but we'll see what they happen to have. We may just go ahead and Von Rink's TIE Interceptor and do that shenanigans, but we'll see. Let's get in for 3. They play a Millennium Falcon. I am going to Open Fire the Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon can get really scary really quickly. I'm going to have to kill that. We're going to get in for 1. Take some more damage. Get in for 3. Pass. Got a Calculating Magna Guard. Not a huge fan of this one. They're going to have basically no ground units. Don't think it's a very good card in this matchup. We'll see. Luke Skywalker. Okay, they're going to race us. They got a lot of damage over there. We're going to get in for 3. They're going to get in for a massive chunk. 7 whopping damage. We'll see if they have anything. They're going to claim initiative. We're going to put out a TIE Interceptor, and we're going to get in for 3. And I will shield up this TIE Interceptor. We technically have lethal with this power from pain. Technically have lethal, which is pretty awesome. So let's just get in and attack with the Hylobot Enforcers. And what's nice about this is, even if our opponent has an interaction of some sort, open fire that one. Why? I don't understand. So they definitely should have open fired the Hylobot Enforcer. But that's okay, because we'll just get in. As I was saying, they have the wedge deploy this turn. They could have gotten in with a little bit of damage. If they had deployed wedge as a ground unit, let's say they go open fire here, we attack with a TIE Interceptor. They deploy wedge as a ground unit. They would have had a chance. The open fire was the key deciding factor. Again, open fire. Sometimes people play in wedge, some people don't. That was the key deciding factor. Definitely a big mistake from our opponent. I think we should have lost that game. It really depends on what we would have drawn next turn, right? Because they would have been at 5 HP on base, right? I believe that is the case. 5 HP left. So if we drew one of our Grim Resolves, then we could have won, right? But we would have had to draw something. That would have been the key factor. So a little bit of a mistake there from our opponent, but we ended up getting there anyways. I suppose what also could happen is they open fire, we play power from pain, we attack, or they deploy, we attack, they attack. Then they could have had a shot, but technically they didn't even need to do anything because they could have just taken initiative and then attacked in for 7. So yeah, that definitely was, a mistake on our opponent's part for sure. But on to the next one. Into our next matchup. Here's a deck that hopefully we can trounce extremely quickly. Gonna start off with a TIE Bomber, ready it up, get in some damage. Hopefully I don't have too many units here. I'm hoping that Piet does not have a lot of units, but I could be wrong. Okay, they have a Death Star Stormtrooper. Double Death Star Stormtrooper. Well, that is a little bit surprising, huh? I did not expect them to go double Death Star Stormtrooper up against us. So, well, that caught me a little bit off guard. I'm going to be honest, guys. We might be in trouble here. I did not prepare for that matchup, or this matchup going this way. Let's hope our 5th brother can get down and not die instantly. They've got Super Laser Technician. Sure. Let's attack. They can go ahead and defeat their own Super Laser Technician. It is what it is. We need to attack with a TIE Bomber. Don't really have many other options. Let's go with 5th brother here. They're going to attack. We will go ahead and ready this guy up. And we will attack. I'm surprised they didn't attack the 5th brother, because we can go ahead and take out one of those and shield up the 5th brother for next turn, which is actually pretty nice. Let's get rid of one of these Scout Bike Pursuers because we do have a Sonara Sand. I'm not really worried about our HP here. I'm more worried about the potential of Piet absolutely decimating us. So we'll see. Grim Resolve would have been pretty sweet here. I could have potentially just one-shot Piet, which would have been pretty funny to see. Hopefully they don't have Traitorous. Some of these lists play Traitorous. There's a resupply carrier. Sure. Let's go ahead and attack. Trigger. Kill off the Death Star Stormtrooper. Let's go ahead and attack in with the TIE Bomber. See if they're going to take some damage on Piet. Okay, so Sinara Sand can finish off Piet and grow pretty big here, which is what I'm going to do. She's going to turn into a 7-powered attacker here. Boom, 7-powered attacker. Pretty sweet. Devastating Gunship still on the list of cards we can play. I'll resource the Onyx Squadron Brute's pretty unexciting here. Sinara's a 7-powered unit. That's awesome. That is a really solid card. They're going to have to deal with it. That is not able to be staying on the board for very long without them just absolutely losing. But they're getting to Devastator resources, and that's scary, right? There is the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. We're just going to get an attack with TIE Bomber and see what they're going to have. Devastating Gunship looks pretty good here, potentially, depending on how they divvy up this TIE Bomber damage. I assume they're going to take over to the Dark Trooper, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's go with Morgan Elspeth here. We're going to be able to kill off that Phase 3 Dark Trooper. And get an attack in here. Okay, boom. Restore 1. Don't defeat the Sinara Sand. Attack in for 7. Hylobot Enforcer. All right, what do you have, opponent? This is a pretty scary situation to be in. We have Grand Inquisitor plus Fallen Lightsaber. We've got Morgan Elspeth plus Hylobot Enforcer. We've got Sinara Sand, 7-powered attacker. What do you have? You kind of need a Devastator or you are done for. Even if you have a Devastator, you're still done for. I don't know if there's much you could play here. I really don't. There is the Relentless, and that is GG. That was a pretty interesting game. I did not necessarily expect what my opponent ended up playing here at the beginning, but ended up working out for us, I suppose. All right, we're going to go ahead and mulligan this one, hoping for a multiple 1-drop turn. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Double Hylobot Enforcer is exactly where I want to be. Ooh. Never mind. What a horrible situation. They have Krennic turn 1. That's horrible. Let's go ahead and put a shield token on Hylobot Enforcer. And ooh, that's a Force Throw. Okay, Grim Resolve, probably the resource here. I want more units, especially up against a more controlling deck. But we'll see what my opponent's got. There could be a numerous many things that they could play here. That's really, really worrisome. But we'll just have to see. We will just have to see what they've got. We could potentially ready up this Hylobot Enforcer multiple times, the one with the shield token, that is. I think what we'll do is just... Ooh. I think I got to knock out Krennic. I know I don't really want to, but I'm really worried that they're going to play something that's a little bit too oppressive with a when defeated trigger. They're going to claim initiative. That's really good for us. Actually, we're going to go 5th Brother, ready up 5th Brother, attack, trigger, make our Hylobot Enforcer grow, and then get in some massive amount of damage there. Takedown, don't really care about that. We've got the Force Throw. I think here we will just go ahead and defeat a Hylobot Enforcer. They can draw an extra card, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. Let's go with Scout Bike Pursuer here. Let's go ahead and ready it up. Attack, trigger, make the Scout Bike. Oh, that was dumb. I was thinking we were going to do the same thing as we did last turn, but then of course we don't actually have the ability to do so because my 5th brother is going to die. That was dumb. That was a really silly mistake, guys. That was a really silly mistake. That might be game losing here. Let's go Morgan Elspeth. Let's get her in for some damage. Pass. I mean, technically that would have been game. That would have been game right there, to be honest. Had I not defeated my own 5th brother, we would have won right then and there. On this note, though, that's still GG. Not exactly a close game, and I honestly didn't think it would be. I was a little bit worried when I saw the Krennic. To be honest, I was a little bit worried when I saw the Krennic because that's the type of unit that can actually deal with what my board just placed. I was expecting like a Dr. Pershing or something of that note, or maybe just controlling elements, but that's not what happened. So I was a little bit worried there, but after that, the game was pretty smooth sailing. Even with me blundering massively by killing my own 5th brother, we still were able to make it with not even close. Like, I mean, look at what this turn could have been. Attack for 4, attack for 4, attack for 3, play a 5th brother, ready Fifth Brother, attack again, play Grand Inquisitor, attack, ready Morgan Elspeth, attack again, play Onyx Squadron Blue, play Force Throw. That's an insane turn. That's an absolutely disgusting turn. So a lot of options there, and that was not close at all. And that was Grand Inquisitor, guys. It was pretty awesome to play. I'm going to be honest, this deck is really fun, and I think there's a lot of potential here. I think Grim Resolve is a great card in this list. I'd really like to see cards like Fifth Brother, these cards that get a lot of value from just having damage on them. Another card that's really, really solid with this whole list that's brand new, guys, the Devastating Gunship. I know this is from set 3, but this card is amazing in this list. Interceptor Ace did some pretty good work. I think one of the big things is, and we talked about this when we played with set 2, Grand Inquisitor, a couple of the filler pieces just don't feel like they're right for this list. A couple examples of that, Morgan Elspeth, even though she's a Force unit, she's got 3 power, she can be ready but Grand Inquisitor, she doesn't feel like super strong, okay? She feels like decent, but not super strong. The TIE Interceptor seems decent, works well with Interceptor Ace. Outside of that, yeah, it's kind of okay. The Magna Guard and TIE Bomber, same thing. And the Onyx Squadron Brute, same thing. I would love to see cards that really function more with the Grand Inquisitor coming in the future sets. Of course, there's multiple ways to play this list. This was super fun. Again, big shout out to, oh my gosh, I forget the name. I apologize. I'm going to leave a link to his video down below. I just don't want to butcher the name. Cielson, I think is the way you pronounce it. But anyways, shout out to him. He's the one that posted a video and the deck that inspired me to go dig out Grand Inquisitor Blue from the shelf and play some games. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Try it out. It is incredibly fast. You could definitely win games on turn 4, and I'll see you all for the next one.